This is Blake from Green Knuckles Across. On this week's Photo Friday, we are going over what shafts are best for face-offs. We will be going over what kind of shaft gives you the biggest advantage when facing off. So the next time you're out looking for a shaft for face-offs, just narrow it down to two things: the price and the weight. And that wraps up this.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. My name's Blake. If you don't know who I am, then you suck. A while back I did a video on face-off shafts and if they matter. Well, at the time I said no. 1 year later, StringKing comes out with a never before seen face-off specific shaft. Let's see if it changes my mind. Yo dudes, it is Blake from Green Knuckles Across. Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be going over the StringKing Composite Pro Face-Off Edition shaft. I've been using this shaft for about 2 to 3 weeks now, so almost a month, which explains why it's all dirty at the top. So let's go ahead and go over the packaging of the shaft. I'm a big fan of StringKing's packaging. They're very simple and it's very clean on how they do their packaging. It's a standard across the board. Everything they do is the exact same. Big fan of that. Keep in mind, I got this from a lacrosse shop. Right off the rack. This is how it came, exactly like this. I didn't take anything off. It might vary depending on how you get your shaft. There might be an extra thing on here that I didn't get, or something different when you order online, but this is what I got from my lacrosse shop. So up top, it comes with the StringKing little pamphlet, paper, label, whatever you want to call it, and they make it very clear that this is in fact a face-off shaft. Down here in the yellow, which matches the paint, really cool detail, I'm a big fan of that. It says face-off, it's spelled the same way I do, so freaking sick. Up here it says face-off shaft, 155 grams, pretty light shaft for what's going on here. Up here is a heartbreaker. I cried for about 3 days straight after I spent mine came out to $140. So yeah, they make sure that's the proper amount labeled. And of course it comes with a screw. I mean, it better freaking come with a screw. I paid 140 bucks for a shaft. Here is a little description of the Composite Pro. Tells you just a little bit about the shape. And over here, it has 3 things that the shaft shape is supposed to improve on. And I believe it says fast hands, extra leverage, and more control. Sorry, I couldn't read that backwards. Then right here is a little diagram of how the shape moves through the motion of the face-off. Pretty self-explanatory, but just one little detail that they threw in there. And on the back is the warranty process that StringKing is known for. They have a great warranty claim. I used their warranties a few times and I got my stuff I wanted. So here's a little process or step through on how to get your stuff back if it breaks. And one last little detail that I thought was pretty neat was right here next to the barcode. It says white. I did get the white and yellow version. They do have a black and yellow version, but I thought the white looked a lot cleaner. I'm a big fan of this white color that StringKing provides, so I would assume if you got the black one, this would say black. We have our little plastic shrink wrap packaging thing. I don't know what the name of this is, but inside we have a full roll of StringKing tape that has that tear right here. We got our StringKing cork that goes inside the shaft if you don't want to use the rubber butt end, and of course we have the rubber StringKing butt end. So you have 3 options right there, which is really neat that they threw them all in one packaging. Really cool. So let's go ahead and cover the most boring part about the shaft, and that is everything below the yellow. At the very top of the white, right before it turns yellow, there is this little QR code. I do have a QR code scanner right here. Well, that's pretty cool. What's up? Let's go ahead and scan it real quick. Let's see what happens. It'll pop up, focus. Oops, so nothing. I don't know if that's because of the app I'm using or because StringKing has nothing registered to the actual QR code itself. It might be something in their system when it comes to manufacturing and packaging the shaft itself. Based off the app, there's nothing actually related to it. The rest of the white portion is your traditional StringKing octagonal concave shape that they have across the board for all of their shafts. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they didn't go down a different route where they just threw in some random shape that they never used before. They just took a normal StringKing shaft and added this feature to the top of it. Big fan of this shape. I like the concave little ridges they have along here. You can see that, yep. The texture itself is smooth. This is just white paint. This is just to be here for looks. You're gonna need to put some tape down here for your left hand when you face off. It also gets really dirty really quick. Not a big deal to me. It's gonna get dirty anyway. It's white. Dang, you can't even see that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it gets dirty pretty quick. It's white, it's expected, it's paint. We're face-off guys, who cares? The shaft is hollowed out, it is not solid, so keep that in mind. And there are already 6 pre-drilled holes in the shaft that line up perfectly with a Mark IIF. You got 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and 1 on each side, which is really neat. There's no drilling needed. You can go ahead and slap the 2F right on there, and it'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and talk about the portion of the shaft that makes this so unique. A while back, I did a video on face-off shafts and do shafts matter when you face off. At the time, I said no, because pretty much the standard across the board for all face-off shafts, the shape was just an octagon. And what I also claimed was the most ideal face-off shaft shape would be the shape that your hand makes when you wrap around the shaft. It's not a perfect circle, it's not a perfect octagon, it's somewhere in between. It's not something you can really put as a standard, okay? But there's also a way of working around that, and that's what this shaft did. When you wrap your hand around the shaft, there's 2 points of contact that aren't there. There's gaps in between the shaft and your hand. That usually tends to be right above your knuckles, and then right here, pretty much where the points are. Boom, boom, right here, right in the middle of your fingers. But in order to increase surface area, you need to make contact in those 2 points. Funny how the shaft works. It kind of fits in where that bigger part right here above the callus is. It fits right in and increases the surface area that your hand makes contact with on the shaft. More surface area, more friction, better leverage, better grip. The way they made this shaft was pretty awesome. I was pretty impressed with this. They took the middle of the shaft, you took it here, they just pulled it up a bit, okay, including the bottom portion. So they took away from the part of the shaft that your hand makes the least amount of contact and put it in the area where your hand needs to make the most amount of contact. They just shifted it upwards. That's all they did. I love it. I love the concept of that. So in short, they just took the normal shape of the shaft, pulled it up, and filled in one of those points where you didn't really have a lot of contact with the shaft to increase leverage, friction, surface area, all of that crap. Now on to some of the questions you guys had. First one is it legal? I have a tape measure to see if it is, in fact, under 3.5 inches in circumference. There's the 3, there's the 4. It's well below the 3.5 point. And that's easily at the peak of how wide it is. There you go. Okay, that's the maximum width at this point. So that being said, it's legal. Another question you guys had was, how is the texture and will I need tape? Just like the bottom portion of the shaft where it's just paint and it's nice and smooth, that same theme carries all the way up to the top part of the shaft. At no point is there any sort of grittiness or roughness to it. It's all smooth from the top to the bottom. And although there is a nice little shape up here that does add more friction to your hand versus a standard octagonal shape, but I still recommend tape. You know, if it's wet or whatever, I recommend taping it up just because it's so smooth. I don't like relying on just the shape itself. I'd rather have the shape and the tape to help out. Next question, which I thought was a pretty good question. Is it hard to cradle with? At first, it was really hard to. It just felt weird. It was hard to get used to. There is a learning curve, but once you get used to it, I mean, it feels like a normal shaft after a while. So no, it doesn't really throw off your cradling. You will be able to play field with it, no problem. Now here's my favorite question. What heads can actually fit on this shaft? Obviously we all know that the 2F can fit on here because that's what the shaft is meant for. But we were all curious to see what other heads can fit on here other than the 2F. So let's go ahead and test that out. 2F, check. STX Dual 2? Technically, yes. I just don't know if it's all the way on. It doesn't look like it is, but again, this is a different head compared to the 2F. I just got done hammering it on the concrete about 10 times now. I think I got it in there, so technically, yes, it does fit. And if I put my hand on there, I still have that bump, just a little bit of a gap. I mean, this is a given. This head isn't meant for the shaft, but it does fit. So yes, that gets a check. Next, let's try brand new OG Dual. Oh boy. Uh-oh. That one in. Alright. Looks like it got on there. The holes almost line up. I don't know if you can really see that. It just looks goofy. Looks like the head's just too far away from this bump. Just pounded on the concrete again, finally got it in there. There's still a little gap if I hold it on the ridge. That's still good enough there. Yeah, so that gets a check too, that works. The hard part is trying to get this off. Alright, I'm struggling. Alright, that came off. Although these might fit, I don't think I recommend using them. I almost broke my back trying to get both those heads out. Next up, Brian Dictator. Oh, that's butter. Wow. Oh yeah, that works. That is probably the best fitting head on here. Look at this. Oh, dang it, can't see. Crap. All right, just to prove it to you guys. This hole lines up perfectly. Oh God. This might possibly fit better than the 2F itself. That fits perfect. Screw holes line up perfectly, and this bump ends as soon as the Dictator starts. That's a double check. That is awesome. Dictator guys, you're in some serious luck. Next we got the NOS 2, which isn't different from the NOS. All right. There is no hole that lines up, but it does fit over that bump. It works. I mean, again, I don't know if this is legal or not, but definitely have to tape it because I think you're lower than 6 inches here with the color difference. You're about a full inch short when you have the nods on here. You're gonna have to tape it to increase this color difference. Next we got a Tribe 7, Scepter 7. I don't know if anyone uses this, I just want to see if it actually works. Huh. Yeah, that works. Oh man. Oh man. Yep. I got another surprise for you. Fits right over, no problem. Screw holes line up perfectly fine. Again, it might be a little bit too long though with the color difference. That's just part of the rule. And you're losing more of the bump, but it works. Next, we got Under Armour Command X. Pretty popular head. Okay, wow. I'm gonna give that a strong no. That just doesn't look right. No screw holes line up. It looks like it's right in the middle. It's right in the middle of those two. So I would not recommend putting a hole in between that one. It fits. Whoa. If this breaks this shaft, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm suing someone. If you look at the face of the head, this goes perfectly fine in there. It's so weird. Oh, it's got some wobble though. That works. That gives a thumbs up. Nike Legacy. Used to be a big fan of this head. Let's see if it works. Whoa, ketchup mustard combo. Well, it fits over the bump, and it fits in the screw hole. This one works. Man, I'm blown away. I didn't think any of these were gonna fit. That one looks just as good as a Dictator. I think we're down to our last head, and that is the Nike CEO. This one, oh boy, let's see. CEO fits right over it. I mean, well, you can kind of see it stretching a bit. The screw holes line up again. That works. That works for the CEO. That's another check. But I guess the most important question is this legal? I don't know if this violates any rules. You're not making any modifications to the head. The shaft is still under 3.5 inches. I'm assuming this is legal. All right, so as you guys can see, all the heads I tried out fit on the shaft. Blows my mind that I wasn't expecting them to fit. I thought for sure that bump would just stop them from going over, but the heads went right over them, no problem. So what heads can fit on it? Out of all of those, they fit. I can't speak for those that I didn't test, but I have a good feeling that they would fit. The duals were kind of hard to fit in because of the throat plugs. These things, I literally almost broke my freaking back trying to get them off the shaft. So once they're on there, they're on there. Obviously this shaft was meant solely for the 2F, but as you just saw, I just put 8 different heads on the shaft. So if you have one of those 8 heads, you should have a problem with using the shaft with it. We've now reached the end of the video. Now it's time to tackle the biggest question. Is the shaft worth it? This is kind of a tough question to tackle just because I didn't have any sort of real testing or any sort of experiments done on the shaft yet. I apologize for that. I just couldn't think of any sort of experiment to use or just put together in order to test to see if this shaft gives you any sort of advantage over a normal shaped shaft. The only setback I have about this shaft is the price point. I think $130 is way too much for a shaft. I would like to see the price drop down to closer to $100 just so more people have access to it. But if you're willing to spend that money on a shaft, I would definitely recommend picking one of these up and just giving it a shot. It's extremely comfortable and it's unmatched. There's nothing else like it on the market. It definitely fits a lot better in your hand than a normal shaft, which is gonna increase your grip at the face-off. And a good way to test that is if you just take your standard shaped shaft and you just hold it at the very ends of your fingers and just do this. Over time, you'll start to feel it slip away out of your fingers and you'll see your thumb starting to come up to try to catch it real quick. But with this shape, I can literally, just telling you right now, I can do this all day. I'm not feeling it slip at all. It's just stuck right up on top of those calluses that we pointed out earlier. It's nice and stuck up there. This is a good way to test out to see if your tape is tacky too. But this, with the shape alone, it's not moving at all. I could literally do this all day and not feel the shaft slip out of my hands. Just because of that little ridge, my hand can really pinch down on it and keep that grip throughout the face-off. So yes, I do think that the StringKing Composite Pro Face-Off Edition shaft is worth the purchase. Just be advised, I'm telling you right now, you're going to get addicted to this feel. You're not going to want to go back to a normal shaped shaft. You're going to want to stick with this thing, so be ready to buy like 5 of these things. And that wraps up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the StringKing Composite Pro Face-Off Edition shaft, holy crap, or any questions in general, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Like and share this video, subscribe to our channel. If you haven't already, check us out on Instagram at GreenKnucklesLacrosse and check out our website at greenknucklesLacrosse.com for some sweet hats. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Till then, kids, get 'em dirty.